will, and strive always to speak the truth in love. We are watchmen, warriors, victors. Together, we will fight the good fight and finish strong. This is David Hebner Live.
Everybody, David here. Hey, guess where we are? We are at the location where we filmed last Evangelist, and we're on the night of the 9/11. 9/11 happened many years ago, and we're going to be talking about that tonight, along with communism coming to America, what to look for, and who's behind it. So as we go in here, I want you to see. You want to know who a terrorist is? Want to know? Look in the mirror. There we go. This is the Anti-Terrorism Investigation Unit right here. And what's it meant for? It's meant for Christians like you and like me. There's going to come a day that when you talk the things of God, when you say things that are true, that's going to be called hate speech. And right now we're in the police station. Here you can see this is where they arrest all the criminals. And Jesus said that if they hated him, they'll hate us too. Now, up on the wall, you'll see all the wanted pictures, you see. These are all the wanted pictures of people that spew hate speech. But the question is, what is really hate speech? We talk about these last days, these end times, that the good will be bad and bad will be good. And that the Antichrist system will just pervert truth. And he will call it hate. And that's what we're dealing with now. That's what we're dealing with now. I want to talk about 9/11 because, all right, let's get into it because it's important to do this. And I'll tell you why I'm going to spend some time with it. Assumably, some planes flew in to the Twin Towers, and they did, presumably hijacked by terrorists, and they were. And they killed many. It was terrible. And we need to pray for their families. It's very important. But the question is, why really did it happen? And who was really behind it? Was it terrorism? Yeah, it was terrorism. But I don't believe it was terrorism from the outside. I believe this terrorism existed from the inside. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. You see, the Antichrist's antics is orchestrated in these last days. We're going to see the dark side start coming up with these events. And it's funny how the devil comes up with numbers, like 9/11, like January the 6th, the J6ers. Interesting. Numbers, symbols. What's it all for? Homeland security, take away our rights. You walk through airports now like cattle. They shine a camera, they can see right through you what you had for dinner. Jesus said his people would be persecuted, but not defeated. You see, we think that being persecuted is being taken out, but that's not true. That's a lie from the enemy. It's been it's propaganda sent out by I call them Six Flags Over Jesus churches, the God marks, the liars in the pulpit. It's the church system that caves to the political, social, and economic pressure. What God's looking for is a few good men and women. And that's why I want to talk about tonight, before I bring on my guests. I want to talk about a few good men and women that were on board Flight 93, United Airlines, that day of 9/11. Passenger Todd Beamer, he was on Flight 93, United Airlines. It was hijacked by terrorists. And they were going to fly the plane somewhere, and he knew it wasn't good. He knew that he had to step up to the plate, and he had to do something. So he placed a call. It went into Elisa Jefferson, who was the supervisor there, I guess, who received working for the phone company. And she listened to the things that were going to unfold that I'm about to tell you. Someone had been killed. The co-pilot had been forced from the cockpit, and many had been injured. So you see, Todd Beamer, he decided he was going to do something. He grouped a small group of people. To rush into the cockpit. You see, folks, when we see something happening, the problem is we want to run away from something instead of to something. We need to stand for something. The only way you can stand against something is to stand up first. And people aren't even doing that. So Todd Beamer's last words, and this is, I want to honor the families and the friends of the victims. And I want to honor the ones that gave their lives. Todd Beamer's last words. Are you ready? Okay, let's roll. That's what you and I need to do. Let's roll. Someone who is shouting, let's roll, is my guest, and I want to bring her on tonight. Spent some time in a Chinese jail and prison, well, for a faith in that good can overcome evil. I want to bring on Miss Kay Rubacek. Are you there?
Hello, yes, I am.
All right, all right. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Almost. Rubacek, very close.
Rubacek. All right. And hey, I told you earlier, you look like a 1920s movie star. Like you look too good to be in a Chinese.
Well, it was 20 years ago, and sure, I'll take that. I like the 1920s look, but with hair like mine, it kind of goes wavy. There's not much else I can do with it. But yeah, that was 20 years ago, but it did shape what I do today, got to say.
Okay, so where are you from originally?
Australia. You might be able to tell from my accent. Been in the US for 12 years.
Okay, so how did you end up? But let's back up with your family. They were persecuted. They were censored. They had to leave from one country and go to another. Give me a Johnny Thunder tour of that.
Well, it was largely because of their faith. They were religious believers. They were Christians in Russia, and it happened 3 times. Over 3 generations, my family had to escape communist regimes from 3 countries. First, my grandparents and great-grandparents from Russia in the 1920s. It was a very dangerous trip. They were to escape. They were very lucky to survive. They went to China, and then in China, the Communist Party took over there. My father was born and raised there and was, again, very lucky to survive and to escape. They went to Australia and found freedom, and there I met my husband. And he actually was born and raised in the former Czechoslovakia under communism, and their family had to escape, not because of religious persecution, but because of political persecution.
Right, but so you're a product of a family that's been we're talking several generations of persecution. It's in your DNA. So now here you are in America. Before we do that, let's go to China. What in the world are you doing in China? How'd you end up in jail?
So I went as a human rights activist to actually stand up for people's faith in China. In China, persecution is extreme because the communist regime is so extreme against people of faith. And I held a banner on Tiananmen Square. And the word that I was holding said compassion. Now, it's really hard for people to believe that someone would be arrested for holding the word compassion in a public space. But that's exactly what happened to me. And I landed myself in a jail, a basement cell in China. And I said to the police, what have I been arrested for? And they said, the words you held up in China are illegal. On that banner, it had 3 words: truth, compassion, and tolerance. And I was holding the word compassion. And as I was surrounded by undercover police, not uniformed police. There's a lot of non-uniformed police. And they arrested me. And I looked down to check what I was holding, the word compassion. That's what they arrested me for. It's unbelievable.
Truth, faith. Was it truth, faith, and compassion?
Truth, compassion, and tolerance.
Wow. Now it's truth that's going to get you in trouble if you're a Christian.
That's right.
Because when you start telling the truth over here, and I want to get to your story of how you ended up here and what in the world you think is going on in America, how's it tied to China? Is communism leaking into our country the way it is? But hey, before we do that, I want to go to a clip of a first episode of Last Evangelist. I play a cop, and churches have to be regulated, kind of like in China, except this is in America. And I bust these churches because they're not registered. So this is a clip where they bring a family in because they're handing out Bibles, kind of like what you did in China. They were doing here in America, handing out Bibles. Spencer, let's roll that clip.
Attention, please. You must be fully vaccinated to enter these premises. Have your vaccine open and ready for scan.
You're hurting. Stop it.
Okay, so you two are at it again. Let's see. Rioting, burning, looting. Destroyed 2 police cars this time. We were exercising our rights.
It was a peaceful protest.
Yeah? What's so peaceful about assaulting an old lady? You broke her arm. Okay. Here's your citation. Court date's on the back. They'll send $100. Get out of here. What do we got here?
2339A.
Here you go, Lieutenant. 2339A.
Ah, providing support material to terrorists.
We were just handing out Bibles.
Without a permit.
It's an illegal translation, too.
Listen, it was just the King James Version.
It's just the Bible.
It's the Word of God.
It's the word of your God, which makes it terrorist propaganda. It's also a felony. Let me see their vaxports.
They don't have any.
No vaccination, huh? That's 2 felonies. Evans, you know the drill. Take them straight to holdover for the DOJ. All bail is denied.
Yeah, there you go. So if you guys want to watch the full episode, go to davidheavener.tv. You can only watch it there. So if you sign up now and send us an email at admin@davidheavener.tv, you can come underground with us with Kay in just a few minutes. We're going to go underground. You will not be able to see us here. Go to davidheavener.tv. Kay, watching this, and you've never seen this before, but is this something like you would see in China in a rough sort of way?
In a rough sort of way, I see a lot of parallels, and it helps. I think it really helps people to understand. It's excellent what you've done there. In China, the difference is that they are brutal. I came back with bruises. I had my hair pulled out. I was very luckily not sexually assaulted or beaten as badly as other people there. My friend had his finger broken and nose was bleeding. If you got separated on your own, you were in trouble. And they know how to beat you so that the bruises are hidden under clothes. And they didn't talk to you like that. And that's I think this is the big thing we look at China and think communism is so different there. And so it makes it harder for us to recognize it here because America has a different foundation. So they try to infiltrate in another way because this country is founded as one nation under God, right? I mean, that's the essential principle of it. So, but in China, that all got wiped out during the Cultural Revolution. So they are so violent, and the propaganda is so extreme. They were filming us the whole time. They wouldn't let us eat unless they had the cameras on us. And I refused to eat while they had the cameras rolling because it was all propaganda. So I couldn't eat. China's extreme, but America, everything looks really good. They look kind of more pleasant, right. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing wrapped up in a different wrapper, a different package, Kay. So I think what you're saying, and I agree, is that the agenda behind it is the same. It's just how they're delivering it and how they're packaging it. Also, too, it's like a frog in water. It has to happen slow over here. Otherwise, Johnny gets your gun. They got to be careful with that because they know that there's, still some renegades out there, people that will stand up. But in any case, when you hold up a sign or have a Bible truth or hold up a sign that says compassion, that stands for God, they don't like it. Tell me about, you mentioned that they were filming you, you wouldn't eat. What was it like inside that cell in China? Were you the only one? Did it have a toilet? Did it have a sink? I mean, what was in there?
I wasn't the only one. There was about 30 people that had come from all different countries. And I traveled with a friend from Australia, and I just knew there was going to be some people meeting at a flagpole at 2 p.m. that day on November 2001. And then, I knew one of the guys was going to have a big banner, and I looked at it and I said, yeah, I'll hold that. Held up compassion. And in that basement, within 30 seconds, mind you, we were rounded up and thrown into vans. There's so many undercover police on Tiananmen Square, which is the main center in the capital city of Beijing. It's the capital, right? So in that basement prison cell, it's really telling. There's no sink. There's just a hole in the ground, and everything's tiled, floor to ceiling, so they can make an absolute mess and wash it down.
So they were wanting to film you while you were in prison, while you were behind bars. They wanted to film you because they could use this in a propaganda film. Is that right?
They didn't film behind bars. Exactly, because they're experts at propaganda, the communists. That's their whole important mechanism for them to control people. So they moved me out of the prison after hours, and then I was taken, and they tried to force me to sign documents in Chinese that I can't read. I can't speak the language. And they were trying to force me to sign these papers while the cameras were rolling it, and I refused. And they were brutal. They didn't beat me at that point, but they were very, very aggressive. Nothing like what the police in your video look very tame compared to the Chinese. And
did they beat you, Kay? Did they ever manhandle you?
Manhandled, I wouldn't say beaten. I was assaulted. They were punching me and sort of shuffling me around to force me into a van and to take the banner off me. I was the last one holding this banner, but I refused to give it to them.
Yeah. Were you afraid you were going to be molested? And if so, why didn't they?
I think, I really didn't know what would happen. There hadn't been a scenario where a group of Caucasians, non-Chinese, went to Tiananmen Square and held up a banner for the rights of Chinese people to have freedom of belief, freedom of thought, for the truth. And so I was naive. My father was born and raised in China, and when I told him I was going to hold a banner, he said, "You're naive. You don't know what you're doing." And he was absolutely right. I thought maybe they'd let me just walk away. I didn't know. But I think, faith drives a lot of things. And I just had trust that I was doing the right thing.
You believe God was protecting you, that they weren't molesting you because maybe angels were around you, or God's hand was on you. Okay, let's talk about America. I want to ask you, what do you see? You're in America now, okay? What do you see happening in America that's going the wrong direction, that where communism is leaking in? Can you give me just like two things that are happening? You can give as many as you want, but at least two major things that we're going to wake up one morning and go, hey, hello, Chi-America,
Yeah, so if we're seeing the symptoms on the surface now, so you look at things like critical race theory, the forced sort of gender transitioning of children, trying to separate them from their parents, and getting the state to come in between. So parents are being separated from their children. It's the most devastating thing for a society to break down the family unit. These are core things that communists have done in every communist regime. So it's not like we haven't seen this before, and it's not that this is just a sudden thing that's happened in the last few years. People have been trying to warn us for decades. Americans, brave, smart Americans, have written books and studied this, but we haven't paid attention. When
we come back, I'm talking to Kay Rubacek. And when I come back, I'm going to ask Kay about if communism is leaking into America, which it is, Who is the new Hitler? Who's the Stalin over here? We're going to be talking about this. So I want you guys to stay with me and check out this little commercial here on End Times Investigation DVD. We'll be right back. Listen, we have the new End Times DVD. It investigates End Times Investigation. I have a lot of my friends on here, Lisa Haven, Michael Lake. I have Josh Peck, L.A. Marzulli, Stephen Bancrofts. I mean, 8 hours of me investigating things like Satanism, demonic powers, Illuminati, New World Order, Antichrist, one world religion, end times miracles, Bible prophecy. Folks, let me tell you something. One day, what you're watching us on right now, it's called television, it's called social media, it's called the internet. They're going to turn that baby off. You need a hard asset. When all this stuff gets shut off, this is what you're going to be able to learn from and to understand. So I want you to text the word chosen to 91999 or go to davidheavener.tv/order or call 844-806-0006. The brand new DVD of Last Evangelist. You can get it right now. It's limited collector's edition. It's got the new episode on it, along with band videos with me and Michael Lake and Lisa Haven, Sheila Lazinski. Hey everybody, I am honored and blessed not to have just one new book out, but 2 new books. That's right, 2 new books. The first one is End Times Investigation. I deal with Hollywood mind control. I deal with demon portals, the alien-demon connection, astral projection, program multiples, satanic ritual abuse, and much, much more. The things that I talk about in Last Evangelist and on my shows, all my interviews I do, it's right here in this book, especially my life story. Also, True Power, how to access your true power in these last days, okay? It's a war manual for God's children. We need to learn the enemy's tactics and how to battle the enemy in these last days. Pick up a copy of this book. Just text the word chosen to 91999, or you can go to davidheavener.tv/order, or you can simply call 844-806-0006. Hey everybody, David back with you. So good. Hey, I consider you guys my family because, quite frankly, my real family won't listen to me. I start talking about these things, and my sister brought me some tinfoil and I said, what's this? She goes, you need to make a hat. Put your tinfoil hat on. And I go, well, what she meant was you're out in La La Land. But you know what? When you're a child of God and God gives you information, downloads, you got to tell the truth. You got to stand on a street corner and hold up a sign that says truth and compassion. Ain't no way. You got to do it. That's what it has to be done. I want to play this video. We just uploaded to davidheavener.tv. It is Communism in Hollywood. When we come back, I'm going to talk to my guest, Kay. She is a filmmaker. I'll talk to her about Hollywood. Does she think communism has leaked into Hollywood? Are they instigating it? Are they initiating it? Are they propelling it? Are they behind it? Let's play a clip from this. What say you about Nickelodeon, Disney, places that parents think is safe?
There were 45 goals written in 1958, how communism could take over America. And about 12 to 14 of those goals are entertainment based. Wow. Okay, so it's been an agenda since 1958. Go to davidheavener.tv, Spencer. We've uploaded this video and also another one we're going to play in just a little bit. We have many channels, but we've uploaded this one to the Holocaust channel. You can see it's on there. We've got the Last Evangelist channel. We've got the Alien Demon Deception channel. We've got, like I said, 20 channels, over 900 videos. So I want you to go there, sign up right now so you can go with me and my guests as we go underground, davidheavener.tv. If you have any problems, call 844-806-0006. Okay, Kay Rubacek, Kay from Australia, via coming through China, holding up the sign that says compassion and truth and getting thrown in the Chinese slammer. And now you're in America and you're blowing the trumpet here.
you're a filmmaker. I don't know if you spent much time in Hollywood. It probably doesn't matter, because if you understand the power of filmmaking and of motion pictures, you'll be able to talk to me about this. What is Hollywood? When I say Hollywood, I don't mean the city necessarily. I mean the media, the arts, the visual behind it. What part do they play in instigating this communism agenda?
Well, to the communist agenda, it's actually even more important than our news media. So we know the news media is really important for propaganda dissemination. Education is as well. That's really important. But entertainment, you let your guard down when you're watching TV, you're in a cinema. They can plant subtle messages and over time change your thinking. And so in 1956, when those goals that your clip showed, that's when we learned about those goals. And those goals were started in the 1920s. Lenin and Stalin talked about this, and the Chinese Communist, every other communist group has furthered that, because they know the power of the medium. And that's why China absolutely has a big share in our Hollywood, and has a big share in deciding what we see and what our kids see. And so, yep, it's absolutely so important, because we get easily manipulated by what we see and hear.
Absolutely. Kay, being in the film industry for like almost 40 years, I've owned several distribution companies where I distributed movies to China many years ago. The most corrupt people in the world. They buy the movie and they take it and they rearrange it, and they take out anything that has to do with any negativity toward communism. In other words, they don't want people to have any free speech. Well, since then, China has come in and bought most of California. I mean, they own a lot of real estate in this country. People don't know it, but there's holding companies that are owned by these studios, or holding companies own these studios. But if you go down the chain, you'll see that the end user, the end owner, is actually mostly China. So what you're saying is 100% correct. They're behind it. Now, I want to ask you about America, and you say, and I agree with you, that communism is now in America. I don't think it's leaking in. I don't think it's about to. I think it's here. If communism is here, there needs to be a leader. Who do you think the new Hitler is here in America, the new Stalin?
Well, I look at it from two perspectives, right? There's what did Karl Marx? He's a founding father, you could say, of communism, Marxism, socialism. And he called communism a specter, right? And he himself called it a specter. That's like a demon, an evil being, a spirit, a ghost, however you want to describe it. That's the word he used. So, at one level, I think that's fundamentally where this communism is. And it's seeped into so much of the world. And people with free minds around the world are looking to America, because this specter has known that America is very hard to take down. So if I've read a lot of the Marxist writings and speeches and all of these classified documents and things, and I've interviewed former communist officials, and they know, like, you can't just come into America and have a violent kinetic war, because we've got the Second Amendment. Other countries don't. They got rid of that. So America has that. So you can't just come in that way. So they have this, what they call the long march through the institutions, where they take over education, then they take over government, they take over the arts, and they place all these things in there. And they've been doing that for a long time. So the people who control that, well, who's that? You follow the money. So at the I guess the human level, right? But we've got to talk about people that we can see. Who is the Hitler? Those people hide behind a lot of corporations. Like you said, the Chinese are buying, farmland and all this property. You follow the money, and that's where you look at this. We have this idea that money and socialism are separate. They're not. It's really corporate socialism working together, and big corporations, big government, big people wanting power and just desperate to play God, really. So I think, I see it from two perspectives. Karl Marx himself called it the spectre. So whether you call that the devil himself, but then there's also the people who are trying to get that power for themselves. And that's my take on it.
No, you're absolutely, I totally agree. I mean, look, and I've said this several times, I'm going to say it again. It's the puppets. You have the puppets. We're the puppets. Well, we aren't, but the people are the puppets. And then you have the puppeteer, the one controlling the puppets. But there's someone controlling the puppeteer. Now we're moving into the spiritual realm. This is the dark side, the Illuminati. These are the people you don't see. These are the ones, if you think you know who they are, the chances are you don't. It's a diversion, okay? Which kind of leads into the heads of corporate. I mean, we're talking about the ultimate power on earth, okay? This is how I believe the Antichrist will enter into. Now, we don't know. People say it's the Pope. People say that. It does. No, it's going to be a situation where the world collapses and everyone is in such fear, needs it's so much help that someone will arise to the occasion and say, "Here I am. I'm here to help you." Okay, I don't put you on the spot, and we're talking spiritually here because the Bible talks about the Antichrist. Who could it be? Like if you were writing a script, because you got to write a script and it has to be logical. You can't come out of left field. People won't believe it. Who do you see could arise right now as the Antichrist if things keep going the way they are?
Well, I feel like we're really in these late stage end times. A lot of people couldn't see even past 2012 as to what was going to happen. And where we're at now, I just think people need to pick a side. You want to follow this sort of evil specter, or do you want to actually recognize that you are walking, talking miracle, created in, no matter what the socialist communists do, they cannot explain the miraculous nature of man. So none of them can really they cannot recreate us, no matter how much they try with their artificial wombs and all of these sorts of things. I don't think I cannot name a name because it could come from China, it could come from but I think a lot of the most powerful human beings on earth are hiding their faces. And maybe that's because they're going to have to face judgment. And we're just getting to a time where they've done so much damage.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it could be a system. Okay, I talked to many people, interviewed people that make this their life work, and they say the beast is a system. Okay, we're clear. Do you think we're close to this mark of the beast, meaning you can't buy or sell? They're going to go to the digital dollar. They're taking away paper currency. You're a Christian. You come from Orthodox, Russian Orthodox. Do you think we're close to that, Kay?
Well, a lot of people were looking at the vaccine as the mark of the beast before. Now people are looking at digital currency as the mark of the beast. Others, previously we looked at possibly this microchipping that was happening before, or being, that we, I'd heard about people with a lot of money. They were wanting to microchip everybody. So what is the physical mark of the beast? I don't know exactly what that form is. I mean, others in China, they say it's the hammer and sickle. It's the communist symbol is the mark of the beast. And what they are doing is renouncing that. For them, the mark of the beast. They have a massive movement where they are saying, we do not want to be associated with this anymore. And many people are feeling elevated, that they have got rid of something that's deep inside, has been weighing on their heart all their life. So I think I cannot say ultimately what that is, but I would say the hammer and sickle is definitely a heavy mark, a heavy burden for people.
Yeah, I want to play a clip from another video that's on David Heavener TV. I've got this channel, Kay, called the Holocaust Channel. It's dedicated to Holocaust victims all over the world, that not just in Germany, but all over. and I have a lot of interviews uploaded there. Kate, and I think you'll agree with me. Well, you do, because you're on this bandwagon, that if we're not aware of what happened in the past, we're in danger of it happening again in the future. And so this channel, and I'll probably put my interview with you up on that channel because it fits in there, but I blow the trumpet. I cry that people will wake up one day. So I want to play the beginning of this. This is, will it be illegal to live outside the beast system? I mean, a lot of people think you're going to be able to grow food and stuff like that. Well, the very beast that's going to keep you from buying and selling wants to control you. Do you think they're going to let you plant a garden? I mean, my goodness. Let's take a look at the clip of this.
How do you see cashless society tying into this mark of the beast?
The terrifying part is they're actually making laws against it.
Do you think they're going to let us actually have the freedom to go plant things and live off?
That is how tyrants rise.
We don't take it. What are we going to do?
Yeah, right. If we don't take it, what are we going to do? We're talking to Kay Rubacek, amazing gal, filmmaker, documentary filmmaker, mother. She is in a war, blowing the trumpet to tell the truth. Kay, we're going to just take a quick short break. And when we come back, we're going to be taking some phone calls and people that might want to talk to you and ask you some questions. Before we go, though, I want in this segment, would you tell people how they can get in touch with you? And you have a new book.
Sure. The best place is through my website, and that's just my name, KayRubacek.com, kayrubacek.com. All my links are there. And I do have a new book. It's called Nowhere Left to Run, 10 Steps to Survive Tyranny Today. You can download that for free from my website. You'll find it there, kayrubacek.com. And I also have worksheets now available because when I put this book out, people said, how can we make this fit this into our daily lives? And so they said, can you give us questions that we can use in our church, in our classroom, in our discussion group and book clubs? And so I've done that now. So 10 Steps to Survive Tyranny Today. You can get that from my website.
Okay. And when we come back, I want to talk about the 10 steps to tyranny, the things that we could do. I want you to we'll read those and maybe you can fill in the blanks for everybody. Okay. Because one thing to read it, it's another one to hear it come from the author's mouth. Kay Rubacek, thank you so much. Stay with us. We'll be right back with you. Okay, that's Kay. We're gonna go this commercial, and when we come back, we're bringing my lovely wife, Shanita, and then we're gonna go back to Kay again. But you can only get there through davidheavener.tv. Folks, check out this. If you have a car or any kind of motorized vehicle and you want to donate it, do so. It'll really bless the ministry. We'll be right back.
Life is complicated enough. Why worry about what to do with your extra car? Skip the costs of maintaining it, storing it, insuring it, or renewing registration. Car repairs? Forget about it. Here's one easy solution to your car problem. Donate it to a nonprofit. It's fast, free, tax deductible, and if you donate, you're going to feel incredible knowing you're supporting a great cause. Interested? Just call this toll-free number or donate online. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your support by bringing you the MyPillow that started it all. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. Because it works, we've sold over 70 million MyPillows, and now I'm bringing it to you for the lowest price ever. For example, you get my standard MyPillow, now only $19.88 with your promo code. Now's the time to get them for your friends, your family, your neighbors, everyone you know. MyPillows make the best gifts ever. In the times we're in, one thing we all need is getting a great night's sleep. So go to mypillow.com or call that number on your screen now. Use your promo code and you'll get my standard MyPillow for only $19.88. For a more custom fit, my Premium Queen, only $24.98. Or my Premium King, only $29.98. This is a limited time offer, so order now.
Yeah, okay. So, if you got to look, everybody has to sleep on a pillow. They got to have blankets. I mean, Michael and Dale, those guys sent me a whole box of everything they have. I wear it. I use it. I would not tell you that it's the greatest thing I've ever slept on unless I believed it. Go there and pick it up, mypillow.com. And if you just put the code name David7 in there, you get a discount, and it'll bless this ministry. Look, we got to get pillows anyway. Don't buy them at Target. Stay away from Walmart. You're liable to get picked up by an alien there, a hybrid. And stay out of Target. You'll get picked up by the Antichrist. David7. Shanita, you there with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I'm not at Target or Walmart.
Yeah, so those pillows are pretty good, right? They're so good. I steal yours every night, right?
I'm comfortable, yes.
Yeah. And also, too, anybody that wants to donate a car or a boat or some motorized, even real estate, they can go to davidhebner.tv/car, and they'll just come pick it up and take it away. You don't have to worry about it. And again, it will bless the ministry. You cannot donate like someone in your family you don't like. That's not going to work. Not a human, for sure. All right, Shanita. We got just a minute here. Do you have a praise report? Do you have any news for us? Anything going on?
I do, yes. We had a prayer request come in all the way from the United Kingdom, and a few hours later, there was an answer to it. And I think Spencer has a picture from our ministry team in Central America. They have been experiencing just a remarkable increase in the level of healings that they're seeing as they're praying for people. So we're just giving glory to God. And a couple of people have recently come to the Lord. And so the mom and one of the children now are praying for the dad, Stefan, who is from Germany. And then we have a report that just came in from one of your Sunday sermon viewers. She says, I woke up telling God, the lack of sleep and excuses. Well, very to the point, he said, I didn't send my son to the cross for that. So your sermon, David, was God's way of tackling things that can be a hindrance. So thank you very much for yesterday's message.
Oh, well, blessings to her. I'm glad God can use us. All right, Shanita. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything you do.
Yes, yeah. And if you're with us on Roku and want to come into the family discussion underground time, then you'll need to email me or send me a text so I can get that link to you.
Okay, and
So
if
you
people
can email admin, ADMIN, at davidhebner.tv or text 615-861-9659.
or if people want to sign up right now, davidhebner.tv, they can call you at 844-800-0006. Thank you. Okay, very good. All right, thank you so much. And do me a favor, just stay out of Walmart. We don't want you to get hijacked by any hybrids there. So, all right.
We just want to say thank you so much, Kay, for your courage and your voice. We very much appreciate what you're doing.
Thank
Amen.
you.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Shanita. Love you.
Love you.
Yeah. So, Kate, let me bring you back on just for a second. We are going to go on. When we go underground, Kate, I want to talk to you about the southern border. You went down to the southern border. We won't talk about it now because we're out of time, but you went down there, you saw things, you told me, it's shocking. It's just, and it's all feeds into this communism thing of what is going on. And also you interviewed a man in China who owned multiple labor camps in China. And we're going to talk about that. And also your 10 steps to tyranny, that communists
to survive tyranny. 10 steps to survive tyranny.
Okay, to survive it. Okay, so stay with us, Kay. We'll be right back, okay? All right, and I want you guys to go davidhebner.tv, and we're going to see you on the flip side. I'll see you on davidhebner.tv. God bless you guys.